Hola, estudiantes. Hoy vamos a mirar la gramática 5.3. Las diferencias entre ser y estar. All right, so again, welcome. We're on page, actually, I'm not sure the page, but we're on section 5.3 if you want to follow along in your textbook. So I can tell you the pages now, just give me a second. So 170 to 173 in your electronic textbook, ser and estar. So if you'd like to follow along. Okay, so let's start with the PowerPoint. So today we'll be looking at the two verbs in Spanish that both mean to be. And you've already learned that ser and estar both mean to be, but are used for different purposes. These charts summarize the key differences in usage between ser and estar. So here we have uses of ser. So for nationality and place of origin, for instance, Juan Carlos es argentino, es de Buenos Aires. Profession or occupation, Adela es inspectora de aduanas, that's a profession, right? Francisco es médico, also a profession. Characteristics of people and things, Jose y Clara son simpáticos, they're inherently nice, right? El clima de Puerto Rico es agradable. Generalizations, es fabuloso viajar. Es difícil estudiar a la 1 de la mañana, right? So when we just say something is, oh, that is this, right? A generalization. Possession, es la pluma de Jimena. Son las llaves del señor Diez. So that's one way that we talk about ownership, right? 6, what something is made of. So la bicicleta es de metal. Los pasajes son de papel. So when we're talking about the physical makeup of something. Time and date, of course. Hoy es martes, son las 2. Hoy es el 1 de julio. And also for the year, right? Es el año 2022, etc. And lastly, where or when an event takes place. So this is the only weird little strange caveat with ser. Normally, when we talk about location, the vast majority of the time it's with the verb estar. But if it's an event, any sort of an event, so I mean a concert, a party, a conference, a medical appointment, a dentist appointment, any of that, you actually use the verb ser. So here it tells you an example. El partido es en el estadio de Santa Fe. Now, careful with partido is also a false cognate. It looks like party, right? But it actually means game, like a match, like a football match, right? So this is an event. El partido es en el estadio Santa Fe. La conferencia es a las 7. So when or where an event takes place. So atención, ser de expresses not only origin, for instance, es de Buenos Aires, and possession es la pluma de Jimena, but also what material something is made of. La bicicleta es de metal. So of course the context is going to tell you or the speaker, you know, which use is being employed there. Okay, and then here's the chart for estar, or 6. So we talk about location or spatial relationships, with the exception of events, right? Like we just talked about. El aeropuerto está lejos de la ciudad, so that's spatial relation. Tu habitación está en el tercer piso, that's location, right? Health, ¿cómo estás? Estoy bien, gracias. Physical states and conditions. El profesor está ocupado. Las ventanas están abiertas, right? That's a physical state. The windows are currently open. Emotional states. Marisa está feliz hoy. Estoy muy enojado con Maru. So those are both emotional states. These are examples, of course. Certain weather expressions. Many weather expressions use the verb hacer, but a few of them use estar. So for instance, está lloviendo or está nublado. And then ongoing actions, which we studied this last section in 5.2, right? So estamos estudiando para un examen y Ana está leyendo una novela. You would never use ser with that. You can never use ser for the progressive tense. So with many descriptive adjectives, ser and estar can both be used, but the meaning will change. So look at the examples here. So here we see it says Juan es delgado. But then if you use estar with delgado, it means he looks. So Juan está más delgado hoy. So he appears, temporarily looks thinner, right? Or for instance, Ana es nerviosa. She's a nervous person inherently, right? Ana está nerviosa hoy por el examen. She is temporarily nervous. So she's just nervous right now. So another kind of way to start thinking about sed and estado is sed is more permanent in nature, whereas estado is more temporary in nature. So it tells us here that the statement with sed are general observations about the inherent qualities of Juan and Ana, like I just said. The statements with estar describe conditions that are variable and temporary, right? So here are some other adjectives that change meaning when used with sed and estar. So these are interesting. Pay attention to these. So you can say el chico es listo or el chico está listo, but look at the difference. So with es, it's saying he's smart. With está means ready. La profesora es mala, so she's bad, like she's a crummy teacher. La profesora está mala, so using estar is sick, like enferma, right? She's ill. Jaime es aburrido, he's a boring person. Jaime está aburrido, he is bored. So there's a huge difference there. Las peras son verdes, so talking about their color. Están verdes, they're not ripe. All right, so that's a difference. El gato es muy vivo. So here with es, it means clever, and vivo. Está vivo means alive. So estar vivo means alive. Iván es un hombre seguro, right? So confident. Iván no está seguro, not sure, right? So careful with ser seguro means to be safe, right? So el puente es seguro. So that's when we usually, with objects. Back here, if you use it with a person, it can mean confident, es un hombre seguro. But if it's with an object, it means to be safe. El puente es seguro. So you wouldn't, it's not like saying that bridge is confident. Muy bien. Vamos a hacer algunas actividades. Entonces, la primera actividad es esta. Ok, entonces otra vez, si quieren usar el libro de texto, estamos en la página 170 hasta 173. Y vamos a leer las instrucciones. Dicen, select the correct option to complete the sentences. You guys know the drill by now. I'll tell you to pause it. And once you have the answer, you unpause the video to check your work. Número 1, tengo miedo. Creo que la motocicleta no está segura, es segura, es seguro, está seguro. Pausa. Y regresamos. Creo que la motocicleta no es segura. Right? This is what we just talked about in that last slide, when ser seguro means to be safe, right? So the motorcycle is not safe. Yo ya blank para salir. Y Miriam, so would we say yo estoy lista, está lista, soy lista, es lista. Pausa. Y volvimos. Estoy lista. Es la única opción, ¿no? Okay, soy lista sería I'm clever, right? Or I'm smart. Número 3. ¿Dónde blank nuestros pasaportes? So we say, ¿dónde están? ¿Dónde es? ¿Dónde está? ¿Dónde son? Pausa. ¿Dónde están? Claro, porque estamos hablando de ubicación, right? The location of something. 4. La habitación es sucio, está sucio, está sucia, es sucia. Pausa. Y volvimos, está sucia, because it's likely not, es sucia would be, it's always dirty, it's a filthy, just always. So more likely, I mean, we don't have a lot of context, but the more likely is está. Right? It's a mess right now, it's dirty. 5. La reunión con la gente de viajes blank a las 4 de la tarde. So would we say son, es, están o está. Pausa. Y regresamos sería es. Because we're talking about the time of this reunion, right? So la reunión es. Now, some of you may be tempted to say son, but remember, son can't go with a. This a here is critical because it's telling you that the reunion is at 4 in the afternoon, not saying that it is 4 in the afternoon. Son las 4 de la tarde, I mean, it is 4 right now, where we're saying es a las 4. So this es goes actually with la reunión, okay? So it's not telling you the time of the day, it's telling you at what time of the day. 6. Mi maleta es pequeña, está pequeña, es pequeño, está pequeño. Pausa. Regresamos sería es pequeña. It's inherent quality, right? It's either big or small. That's basically it. Y finalmente, número 7. ¿Dónde blank la salida? ¿Dónde es, está, están, son? Pausa. Y hemos vuelto. Está claro. Where is the exit? Muy bien. Vamos a hacer una actividad más. Y será esta. Okay, so it tells that vamos a leer las instrucciones. In each of the following pairs, complete one sentence with the correct form of ser and the other with the correct form of estar. So for each one, we're going to use one form of each verb. Okay, so you guys know the drill. So we'll look at number 1. We'll read both of the sentences and then you'll pause and pick both answers. Okay, Irene todavía no blank lista para salir y Ricardo blank el chico más listo de la clase. Pausa. Y volvimos. So here it would be the verb estar, because to be ready. And to put the accent right, you can click on that and it'll tell us to put the accent in there. That's how we put accents in there. Está lista para salir. So we already know the other one is automatically going to ser. So we just have to conjugate it for Ricardo and será es. Ricardo es el chico más listo. Right, so here es listo means he's the most clever. He's the smartest. Bien. 2. Tomás no es un buen amigo porque blank muy aburrido. Quiero ir al cine porque blank muy aburrida. ¿Vale? Pausa. Y volvimos. Tomás no es un buen amigo porque es muy aburrido. He's inherently boring. Quiero ir al cine porque estoy aburrida, muy aburrida. ¿Sí? Bien. Y sabemos que es estoy porque dice quiero aquí. Entonces sabemos que es yo. El sujeto en esta parte de la oración es yo, ¿eh? Porque yo estoy. Aunque no haya yo aquí, sabemos que es yo porque quiero. Bien, 3. Mi mamá está en cama porque blank mala del estómago. El restaurante chino que está cerca del laboratorio blank muy malo. Pausa. Y volvemos, y aquí sería está. No tenemos que poner el acento otra vez, así. Está mala del estómago, right? She's sick. She's sick. Remember, estar mal, malo, mala means to be ill. El restaurante chino que está cerca del laboratorio es muy malo. It's inherently bad. Bien. 4. La mochila de Javier, blank verde. No me gustan las bananas cuando blank verdes. ¿Vale? Pausa. Y regresamos. La mochila de Javier es verde. We're just talking about the color of it. No me gustan las bananas cuando están. Tenemos que poner el acento. Entonces hago clic ahí. Introduzco la A y pongo la N y cierro eso. Entonces no me gustan las bananas cuando están verdes. Están verdes. So remember, estar verde means to be not ripe. To be unripe. 5. Elena blank más rubia por tomar el sol. La hija de mi profesor blank rubia. Pausa. Y regresamos. Elena está. So this is an instance where we're saying she looks. Right? She looks blonder because for having sunbathed, right? La hija de mi profesora es rubia. She's inherently blonde. Muy bien. Y finalmente, número 6. Gabriela blank muy delgada porque está enferma. Mi hermano blank muy delgado. Pausa. Y hemos vuelto. Aquí es igual que arriba, ¿no? Está muy delgada porque está enfermo. She looks thin because she's been sick. Versus mi hermano es muy delgado. Always thin, right? Ok, muy buen trabajo, clase. Hasta luego.